I'm Julie Wilson and I'm a financial planner. And the fact is that most people have no clue where they're heading financially. They know they've got some assets and some savings, some pensions, some income, some expenditure, but they've got no clue what any of it means. So I've decided to do this podcast so we can explore some of the misunderstandings and issues around financial planning so that you can get what you want out of life. In today's podcast, I'm going to be talking a bit about pensions. Now, a lot of people go, God, pensions, but you need to understand a bit about the history of pensions to know how different they are now to what they used to be. So you used to save up. A pension really is just a savings plan with some really cool tax reliefs on the back of it. So the taxman helps you to save up in effect, providing you take it out at retirement. So what used to happen was you'd build up a pot of money, it'd be very tax efficient. When you got to retirement age, you would swap that pot of money for an annuity, which is an income for life. So let's say you had 100,000 in the pot, you would swap it for £5,000 or £6,000 worth of income, which paid out every year. And it paid out for as long as you lived, which is really cool unless you die really early when it's not very good value. And they weren't very flexible. So everything changed with pensions freedom, which was introduced, which in effect lets you access as much or as little of your pension fund as you want, whenever you want to do it, which gives you a lot more flexibility. And those pensions freedoms, which came in 2015, have had the most far-reaching changes of anything in my lifetime, and I've been in this for a very long time, because you get much more control and tax planning opportunities with pensions now than you ever did do before. They always made sense before because of the tax relief that you used to get as you were saving up, but they often make even more sense now. So what happened? Well, pensions freedom says that you can, as well as being able to access as much of the pension fund as you want to access, anything that you don't access can now be passed down through next generations, which never used to happen. So your pension used to die with you. Now, for certain people, particularly those people who have got an inheritance tax problem, pensions are the last thing they should be using for their retirement income. Often it makes much more sense to access other savings like ISAs and shares before even touching your pensions. And it can even make sense for you to save your pension. That's because houses are inheritance taxable and pensions often aren't. One of the most valuable things we do for clients is to try and figure out what income they're going to need in retirement and how to get that out most tax efficiently, so that your money can benefit you and your family and not the taxman. Because most people think financial planning centres around investment, but it's much more than that. It's about organising your finances tax efficiently to get you what you want. Money is only a tool to create the lifestyle that you're trying to choose, and too many people get caught up in the growing and creating of wealth without really knowing what they're doing it for. So we help people identify what their ideal life and retirement looks like, because most people just want a secure retirement and to look after their family, and most people are getting that horribly wrong because everything has changed and there's a hangover from things that have happened in the past, like when the pension reviews came out, because they used to be quite bad value and they were missold and people sort of got a bit fed up of pensions. And I often speak to clients who say, I don't like pensions. Well, that's saying I don't like a bank account, because the reason that they don't like pensions is because they've had some bad experience usually with the investments within the pension as opposed to the pension vehicle itself, which is really just a tax efficient savings plan. So there are rules around how much you can put into pensions and how much you can take out, and there are the things you can do that can get the tax advantages of a pension badly wrong as you're trying to extract it, because although it's tax efficient going into a pension, it can be tax inefficient coming out of it. So you've got to look at all the different aspects of your finance that you have when you come to want to exchange all the pot of money you've got for an income for life, and see where it's going to come from and how you're going to do that most tax efficiently. So financial planning really is about getting that right, and the big value of any financial planner comes from the tax advantages and the making sure that your money lasts as long as you do, which is what everybody really is trying to do. And rarely do we see anybody that understands how all this moulds together, because they're accessing the pension fund because that's what everybody's always done. So they get to retirement and think, right, I'm going to start taking my pension, and now often that is not the right thing to be doing anymore. So it's like a big jigsaw that you're trying to put the pieces together to get the end result, but you can't start to get the end result till you know what the picture of the jigsaw looks like. So that's what we do, is get you to try and articulate what you want your retirement to look like, and then put a plan in place to do that tax efficiently, and make sure that anything left over ends up with your family rather than the taxman. So I hope you found that useful. Thanks for listening to Talking Money. I'm Julie Wilson. I'm a chartered financial planner at Penn Life Chartered Financial Planners based in York. Please don't take anything I've said as personalised advice. If you want any further information, go and look at our website at www.pen-life.co.uk. Penn Life is regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority, authorisation number 212